following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back. Degraw's Yankees. Degraw's New York Yankees. I'm Ralph Tycho with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and I've got the man himself, Jack Degraw. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you today, Ralph?
Oh, good. Before we get into the Yankees, I want to ask you about the prospective rule changes and the ones that were approved upon. I don't know if you caught that this morning, but they've agreed on to disagree on some, and some are still up in the air, but some prospective rule changes for next year or this year regarding minimum pitchers. You have to pitch to 3 pitchers. The call-ups are going to be different. You're going to get fewer people called up in September. And those are two off the top of my head. Would you comment on how you like them, whether or not you'd like to see it differently?
Well, they approved that this morning, Ralph, about you have to pitch to 3 batters?
That is the case, from what I understand, yes.
Well, if that's the case, I don't like the rule at all. That's a terrible rule because, that takes away from the strategy of the game. Why should you just bring in 1 pitcher and he's forced to pitch to 3 batters? I mean, I like it the way it is. You want to bring a lefty in against the lefty, and then, you can change it up and bring a righty against the righty. So I don't like that rule. I think, they're slowly trying to destroy this great game, and it's just a terrible rule. As far as the call-ups in September, I mean, this might be the only chance for some of these guys to get some major league time. And, I mean, I see no problem. If they wanted to limit it maybe instead of 28 players, maybe to 33, 35, I could go with that. But, I don't like the new rule changes at all. And from what I understand, they want to move the mound back to it, 24 inches.
Well, that isn't close to being approved. What they're doing on that, there's an independent league. It plays on Long Island and back east. I think New York has
Atlantic League.
The Atlantic League. And they are experimenting with that along with the other inane rule of putting someone on second base to start the inning if it's extra innings. And what that will do will obviously screw up the record books forever. Is that a run? Who do you credit the run to? Pinch runner gets that sort of thing. But the craziest one is the one you mentioned, the proposal, and they're going to experiment with that, and that's moving back the mound, which obviously, kid grows up on a mound to, little league to major leagues, all the minor leagues, the mound the same way, and now he's going to pitch 3 feet beyond that. When does the curveball curve? When does the sinker sink? It's absolutely crazy. I don't understand. You change the fun, and I even heard them talking about changing it from 90 feet. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, Ralph. I mean, could you imagine you're a pitcher in the Atlantic League, and you're trying to hook on with a major league affiliate, and they're going to change the mound? I mean, it's ridiculous. I was talking to a pitcher in the Atlantic League. He says he's going to, retire at midseason because he's not going to, throw an extra 24 inches. It's just a stupid rule.
What's it going to do to arms? What's it going to do to velocity? What's it going to do to accuracy? Wow, I don't understand. Baseball's been an overly conservative game afraid of change. And some of us who are old-timers, purists, this, that, and the other thing, even had a hard time with the DH, to be honest with you. I know you're an American League guy. We've talked about this before. Why bring up a pitcher to hit this, that, and the other thing? Well, the basic strategy of, do you take a pitcher out for a pinch hitter and have to put another pitcher in? How will that pitcher do? All these things. Should we bunt? Should we not bunt? Hit and run? All of it's changed. This is that's just with the DH. I think if you change the base pass, for instance, how do you compare generation to generation? Already you couldn't compare record books that accurately. You get the dead ball era. You get the pre-African American era. You get the mound already lowered in 1968. Lowered, and they talk about the big changes that go on statistically and how you can't compare era to era, let alone move back. So I think we agree on. I think I haven't changed your mind about the DH between now and last week. I can assure you that. Am I right?
Yeah, but I mean, Ralph, I can understand people not liking that.
Yeah, but I'll take it at this point. If you guarantee me no, it's coming anyway. The player union is too strong. They have too much power, and they're about to renew their player agreement. It's one of the highest paid slots in baseball. In other words, average DH makes an awful lot of money. Notwithstanding, again, that the idea of them not being in the field, you would think would reduce the amount of money. But no, fading stars is still popular, and I'll go with that. It screws it up for me. I have access to both the National League and the American League, and where I live in Northern California, and I always prided myself on being able to see what I call real baseball in the National League. That'll be screwed up, and I'll adjust to it. It's like anything else. They put it on, but don't change the mound. That's crazy. And don't change the base paths. As for calling up fewer guys, I think they could call up the same amount of guys. They should limit the access, the daily who plays type thing. Like in hockey, you dress X number of guys, you have X number of guys on the roster. I think that might help.
That's a good idea.
You like that one?
That's a good one, Ralph.
I don't know if that's part of it. I didn't get the reduced numbers that they're going to call up, and I don't know if activating X number of players, like keep 30 guys activated. You can call up 40, but you could only dress 30, say. That would be...
Yeah, I'll go with that, Ralph. But, I think a thing, just that I've been going to these spring training.
I don't even know if that's proposed, Jack. That's my idea, and it makes sense because, like you say, guys that get a September call-up, A, it could be their only call-up, the only time they reach the big leagues, and B, it could be a look. Managers, coaches get to look at a guy for next year, see what he could do. Maybe even next year doesn't make the roster. You call him up in September again. They know what to expect, that type of thing. But to cut a player off from the opportunity to play in the big leagues and impress, is not right either. So what you're going to do, but I have to draw the line. If they're talking about changing pitchers, the pitching mound, it screws things up so irrevocably in terms of conditioning for pitchers conditioning. I don't know. The one rule that was out there, and I didn't get a chance to listen to see if they're going to do it, or they're going to make it obligatory to keep. For you Trump supporters out there, obligatory is a long word. I'm sorry. It means they're obligated to do it. They must do it. Simplify things. That was a little humor. But I amuse myself. Anyway, to make it so that two players must be on each side of the infield. They talked about that. I don't know if they made any decision that would affect the shift drastically, of course. And that's out there. So we'll get final clarification of these rules along the way. But we have an idea that of what we'll take and what we won't take. Is there anything, for me it's this pitching thing. Why go to watch it if you can't compare it in any way to past generations? I want to know that whoever they put up, you'll be able to say, well, he wasn't Koufax, he wasn't Gibson, blah, blah, blah. Well, he wasn't Gibson because the mound is back like that. I don't want to participate in those arguments. I don't want to even watch the results of the competition. Is there anything for you where you just go, something they do, some way, a rule change, where you go, enough?
Well, the thing is, Ralph, I think if they move the mound back, and even though I don't like this, you have to pitch the three batters, I just think the way it is now is you have a mostly older crowd who goes to baseball, and they want to make this game more enticing to the younger fans. And I think because most people nowadays can't afford to go to the games, they don't, they can't really watch the game, so they're losing touch with it and stuff. And it's really, if they have all these rule changes, I'll tell you personally for myself, I'll lose a lot of interest in baseball. I mean, I'll always follow it, but I mean, this is just like, they're trying to destroy the game, and I don't like what I see happening. I mean, they complain about the game too long. There's nothing wrong with the game. What the problem is all these commercials and all this other nonsense, interviewing the managers in the dugouts and the players on the field. You don't need that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a great game. It's always been a great game, and now they're trying to make it something it's not.
Okay. Jack, let's get to the Yankees. We're right in the heart of spring training. You've attended a number of games. Tell us about that.
Well, I've been to 10 games so far, Ralph. I'll probably go to 5 or 6 others. And my friend Bob's down here, and we went to minor league game yesterday, and we're going to a minor league game tomorrow. And it's just a great time of the year because you can get close access to the players, and you're able to talk to the guys in the front office and stuff. So it's a wonderful time of the year, and it's a lot of fun. So it's something I look forward to every year.
Tell me, how do you watch a game? Do you sit in one seat the entire game? Do you walk around? Do you catch players at different angles? How is it for you? Do you just simply sit there and enjoy the game?
Well, what I do is I walk around and stuff. I probably sit in like 5, 6, 7 seats. I'll maybe start out in right field and then go to center and watch something from left, and then I'll just work my way around. And by the end of the game, I try to get behind home plate because I like to look at the different angles, and I like to watch the pitcher, how he's throwing, and I like to stand behind the bullpen and just really, get a little bit of everything because that's how I love to watch the game. That's how I've always done it.
Okay. Is there anybody that, spring is, you shouldn't fall in love with a player in spring or in September, the old baseball adage. Anybody that really just popped out at you, a young player that coming up that just caught your eye for one reason or another?
Well, I'll tell you, Ralph, not really so much this spring. I mean, this Florial kid could be good if he learns how to, better pitch selection. But there's really been nobody who's just jumped out at me and stuff. I mean, they look like they have some good prospects, the Yankees, but right now it's like nobody's just, head and shoulders above everybody else.
Okay. I'm a Met fan. Can you tell me what you think of Robinson Cano? Do you think his contract was outlandish from the Mets standpoint, that he has already left his best game on the field? Or do you think he has enough left to make it worthwhile? As a hitter, I've been watching him this spring. He doesn't seem to have faded much.
No, Ralph, I think the Mets did a good thing. I mean, it shows the fans, they're trying to get better. They're trying to, get in the playoffs and stuff. And I think a guy like Cano, he won't really fade that much. I mean, if you look what he did last year with Seattle, he still hit the ball well. So I see him still being a good hitter for the next 3 or 4 years. And plus, he's going to go for 3,000 hits. So I think the Mets made a good addition with Robbie Cano.
All in all, was he a pretty good Yankee?
He was an outstanding Yankee, Ralph. He was a great Yankee. I mean, he could have been a face of the franchise if he would have stayed with the team, if they could have worked out an agreement. And, he got a bad rap saying, he doesn't hustle. He's just very talented, and he looks very nonchalant. And I think if you play 162 games, you play 30 games in spring training and stuff, there's going to be times, you hit a ground ball the second and you don't jog the first or something. But I never see so much, a lack of hustle. I mean, I think a lot of ways that was a bum rap.
Okay, so you feel it was a positive move for the Mets?
Yes. I think they'll get good years out of him. I see him hitting close to 300 this year, if not more.
And lastly, I want to ask you about the pitching staff, the fragility of Tanaka. What do you think? Can they Gio Gonzalez, for some reason, remains out there, and if they're going to talk about picking him up, they better hurry up. It's getting late in spring training. Do you think?
Well, I think right now, Ralph, they're gonna stick with like Sessa and Lozaga and Herman. But I definitely think sometime during the season you're going to see them go for a starting pitcher. I think in April you may be able to get away with just a 4-man staff because they start the season too early, and but I think eventually they're going to have to go after somebody because you don't know about CC, and Tanaka could go anytime, and Severino. Well, we won't know for another 3 or 4 days how he looks. So it's a definite concern.
Okay, and as you know, I was really excited for the Yankees when they picked up Tulowitzki, and we both agreed that it's all based on health because this guy had been a terrific hitter for Colorado, and before where he was last year. And I want to know, does he look good in spring? Is he playing mostly every day? Has he had setbacks physically?
Well, physically he's fine. Defensively he looks good. He struggled a little with the bat lately, but, he got a hit last night. But that's to be expected. I mean, he missed all of last season. The big thing to me, as long as he stays healthy and he's moving good in the field, that's the encouraging thing. I mean, the hitting will come around.
Okay. But you said the magic words. He's looking good physically.
Yeah, that's good. As long as he's making the plays at short. He's coming in on the ball, and he's moving good to his left and right. So there's really no concern there. I mean, in spring training, you only get so many at-bats anyway. So, I mean, you could have 2 or 3 more hits, and instead of hitting 210, you might be up to close to 300. So, I'm not too concerned about the hitting at this point.
You never worry about the averages in spring training. You just worry about tendencies to see pitches, to extend the count a little bit and not swing at the first pitch. And again, health is paramount. So I'm glad he's doing that. How about a DD update? Is he on schedule? Has he had setbacks?
Well, right now he's swinging the bat, and I think in about a week or 10 days he's going to start, hitting off the tee. So he's made some progression. He was hitting off the tee one-handed, with a small bat, and now he's taken, dry swings, and he's still throwing a little bit. So he's on the schedule. And another thing, Ralph, Jacoby Ellsbury is coming in this weekend, so he'll be with the team.
I didn't even want to bore you with that question after all this time.
But that's all right. That's okay. He's coming in over the weekend.
Has been hit with so many different injuries. I'm wondering if, like we talked about a while back, if he's not at the point where one injury doesn't give way to another injury. Like, for instance, you hurt your knee a little bit, you compensate pretty soon, you hurt your right knee, and you're compensating, and your left ankle gets sore. You compensate a little for that, and pretty soon your right hip goes bad. That's the progression of injuries. Players at times who, in their careers, who seem to be snake bitten. It's not. It's just that the body breaks down, and if you put added stress on it, it's going to break down in other places. So I think that's what's happened with Ellsbury. He's coming in on what proviso? To be looked at by the training staff. Is he field ready? Can he go out and show something? Or
no,
we'll find out.
Yeah, at this point, Ralph, he's not even close to being able to do baseball activities because he's been running on flat ground. And when he gets down here to Florida in a couple of days, I mean, they're basically going to, start from scratch. So I don't see him getting into a game, maybe extended spring training till sometime in, maybe second or third week of April. So he's quite a bit of ways away.
Okay. People out there listening, some people not familiar with baseball lingo, so to speak. Extended spring training. Would you explain that? Not just the Yankees. Every team has that.
Well, what happens, a lot of the guys who are going to play in the short season, like in Pulaski and Staten Island, and they don't make the long season roster, like Charleston, Tampa, Trenton, and Scranton. They stay behind at the complex, and they play every day, Monday through Friday, and they start at noon. And the Phillies come over for the Yankees and the Blue Jays and the Pirates and the Braves. And what happened is, like, say Ellsbury comes back. So Ellsbury can bat first for like 6 innings. So they don't keep stats for the games. But, the guys who they get evaluated all the time. And, it's like, who am I going to keep on my roster? Who's going to make, the team in June, or they evaluate players and stuff. So it's even before their short season starts, a lot of these guys, they play 50 or 60 games before they even get in they go to Staten Island or something. So it's it's a grind. So they're always being evaluated.
Let me explain the short season to everyone. There are leagues, and you mentioned Staten Island as one, that are predominantly set up to start play in mid-June after the draft, and they will be fed by players who broke in last year and, as you say, didn't make a full team's roster, full season's roster, and they're in extended spring training. They will report to the training camp of Staten Island. What's the other team that the Yankees have?
They have a team, Pulaski, I think it's in Kentucky.
In the rookie league. And
that's it.
Right. And these guys will be intertwined with new draftees, both high school and college. Now, sometimes college players and high school players will be signed a real good prospect, might miss short A altogether. They might sign with what they call a low A team, not as strong as a high A team. We can get into that another time. But the point is that baseball has an infusion of new talent, and I just wanted to, and I've tried to do this in the past, is give kudos to the coaches that they hire for these the position of managing and coaching the new guys coming in. They have so much control over how guys are going to do. They set up their work ethic. They breaking into the game and what have you. Players don't know what to do. They're learning the differences between professional ball and amateur ball. And these coaches, they're not generally paid, certainly not what a major league coach is paid, because that's one of those set positions by the union with all kinds of union benefits. Minor league coaches are very unappreciated, and guys that break these kids in are really important. I don't know enough about the coaches in the Yankee system to give you an example, but I do know that a guy like Tom Kochman, who used to do that sort of thing with the Angels, other people that I can think of, that one of whom was Bochy. He broke in with San Diego as a low A minor league manager, and of course we all know how he progressed to the majors, first with San Diego and now with the Giants. I think he's holds some sort of record, second to Connie Mack in brain fart there for a second. Second to Connie Mack, holding the records of most consecutive years managing without being fired. I think this is his 25th year and his last year with the Giants. So homage to those, paying a little homage to those guys who break in players initially. It's a big job in baseball. Let's put it that way.
Well, I'll tell you, Ralph, I know down here at the Yankees, and they do an incredible job. They have Louis Soho down here. They have Miguel Cairo. And, they get at the complex 5 or 6 in the morning. These games start at 1 o'clock. So they put in a 10, 12-hour day. And, I mean, I was down the Yankee complex yesterday, and Cairo was hitting the short ground balls to second baseman and shortstop, and they were working on, pivot plays for the double, for the double play and everything. So these guys deserve a tremendous amount of credit. And actually, the coaching in the minor leagues, you do more coaching in the minors than you do in the majors. It's really a tougher job, I believe.
I do too. Totally concur. This has been a great show. This has been nice, as usual, but we're just getting into the flow of it. Next week, we're going to bring back Wayne Unger, and he's going to sit in on next week's show, the original Yankee show on this network. He branched off into Weighted Donuts, his own podcast, but he's going to come back as a guest, and as usual, we'll have fun with it.
Well, it'll be nice to see Wayne. I mean, Wayne's coming over here to Tampa tomorrow, and we're going to watch some of the go over the Yankee minor league complex and see some baseball. So look forward to Wayne next week, and I look forward to seeing him tomorrow.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you one more question about extended spring training that comes to mind. Is that something the fans pay for, or are they given the opportunity to just come in and watch?
No, they can just come in and watch for free. I mean, it starts at noon, and even for the Gulf Coast League, Ralph, starting like, say, June the 20th, the Yankees play every day, Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday, it starts at 12. Saturday, it starts at 10, and that's like every day. The Yankees have 2 teams in the Gulf Coast League, and all those games are free.
Oh, wow. Now, I will identify that as the best deal in baseball for the fans.
Yeah, you can go over the complex and see like 125, 130 games for free, counting the minor league spring training. I mean, it's really a great deal. If you love baseball and you complain about the prices, which I always do, you can go over there for nothing.
Beautiful. Thank you, and that really gives fans something to do. You bring the kids. That is a terrific deal. Can you tell me if all teams have that practice, or just the Yankees?
Oh, no, all teams have it, Ralph. I mean, you can go over and see the Phillies. You can go over and see Dunedin. All these teams, all these games are free. And, it goes down. The Pirates have it in Bradenton. And it's just a great deal. So if you really love baseball at its purest form, and you can sit you can just sit next to the players practically in the dugout. So it's a great venue, and it's a lot of fun.
They don't keep stats, but will they give you a program of some sort, not even a scorecard, but a program where you know who these players are? You see number 99 or whatever. It wouldn't be 99, but you know what I'm saying. Can you identify the players?
Oh, yeah. You go over the Yankee complex, and every day they have the rosters, and you can grab a roster. And the interesting thing, Ralph, in the minor leagues, they still have the number 3, 4, 5, and 7. They still use those numbers in the minors.
Oh, wow. Wow, so a kid coming up can say, well, I wore number 3, oh, Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
I forced the issue. They had it retired for a long time. He could tell that to his grandkids,
Yeah.
Hey, you're a baseball lover. I so much admire your passion. It shows right through, and it fits right in with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. This is going to be a nice season, as they all are.
Well, it's always a lot of fun. I mean, no matter how bad things get in the world, we always have baseball.
Okay. Well, you give my consigliere, Wayne Unger, a big hug. And maybe next week we'll have Jack on as well.
Well, I hope so, if he's not busy going to a game.
Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody, for listening. It's the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. Degraw's Yankees, my privilege. I'm Ralph Tycho, the weak link of it all. Adios.
Take care, everybody.
The proceeding was a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production. Thank you for listening.